Welcome to Fishing for Bees. This is my YouTube channel on swarm catching and beekeeping. It's leaf collecting season, so hopefully this audio is going to be acceptable. A little bit about us is we've never purchased bees. This yard is all our swarm catches from this year except for this one. This was a mini pollination contract we were paid for that we had up in White Cloud, Michigan. I have videos on everything, so if you're interested, please check them out. Also, this is the yard that we've given away 10 frame colonies in the spring, because in our production yard we only want 8 colonies. When we meet 8 colonies, I tend to give the other ones away to people that may have lost their bees over the winter or are interested in getting into beekeeping. I'm not interested in boosting someone's production and giving them bees when they already have bees. I try and give people bees that don't have bees for whatever reason. So again, if any of that interests you, please like and subscribe. Today's November 2nd, it's 54 degrees. We're going to do some oxalic acid vaporization, and we're going to show you how we go about it. So a couple things I'm going to touch on is I use the Low Rob Bees vaporizer, the original one, the plug-in. Rob and his wife are great to work with. I've been communicating with Rob for, I don't know, like 5 years now. I love this unit, but when I first started out, I needed to figure out how to be more mobile with it. This yard is not accessible by a vehicle, probably not even accessible by a four-wheeler, and it would require many lengths of extension cord to get up here. So in the beginning, I communicated with Rob on how I would get it done in remote locations and stuff like that, and we talked about, you know, car battery, inverter, and all that stuff, and I never needed to go down that road because, again, I can get power to my yards. But last year I purchased this unit here, which was on sale on Amazon. I got a great price on it. I'm not going to say the price. It was several hundred off. The reason why I'm not going to say the price is because I won't be correct. I can't remember. All I know is that these units come in various sizes and they are very expensive. And I was able to get this one for like $200 off, and I immediately jumped on it. So after purchasing it, I realized that I might have eliminated the problem of having to get a car battery, an inverter, a cart. Car batteries weigh a lot more than this, to be more mobile. And last year I was able to quickly do a vaporization on this unit here before it went for pollination. And if you see on here, maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't. It tells us the percentage that we're at with the power available in this unit, which is 85% right now. I try and keep it at 100, but I didn't recharge it. So we're going to monitor that. Now, is this the best way of doing it? I don't know. If it's not the best way, I know that an electrician will make comments that I'm doing something wrong. I'm creating too much of a draw. It's going to create too much heat. All of that is possible. And this unit is very expensive. So at this point, I'm not recommending this. I'm bringing you along for the ride to see how well this works as a remote power source in our yards. So some of the things we still need to do, because these nukes are new, is we need to create an access point for the vaporizer. Now, these vaporizers can be used in the front entrance. These vaporizers, when they're gassing off, are going to trigger the bees. Where are the bees going to go? They're going to go to the front entrance. This is over 400 degrees, and you're just going to roast bees after bees, burning them at your entrance. So I don't like to do it at the entrance. I have a particular nuke that I've been forced to do it at the entrance. I don't like to do it at the entrance. When they get triggered, they're going to go and attack at the front door. And you got 400 degrees crammed in the front door with a hot pot shooting vaporization out. It's just a recipe to kill a lot of bees at a vulnerable time. They're vulnerable right now. You need all these bees. These are your winter bees. You don't want to be killing them off. So I do it from the rear. So we need to make a hole in the back of these nukes. I got 4 of them that don't have it, 2 of them that do from last year. And then I put in a golf tee. The reason why I put in a golf tee is because they're going to want to probably propolize that hole. And if you see in this unit, It obviously has a hole for the gas to escape when you have the cap on here. It can't escape this way, so it escapes this way when you vaporize it into your colony. But if they've propylized that hole and you go jamming this in here, you can get a propolis plug inside of there. And you won't know it, but that gas, that molten liquid, has to escape somehow. You hope that it melts or blasts out that plug due to pressure, and what you don't want to have happen is it to shoot the cap off and get a face full of this stuff. So safety first. That's why I like to put in a golf tee. It keeps them from propylizing this shut, and then the next time I come, I don't have to worry about getting a plug. So these golf tees are important for me, and that's why I have them. So make sure you have the right diameter drill for your unit. Every unit's different. Make sure it's level so you're not going into the bottom board. And then I like to give it a little bit more because it's a tight fit. So before I go crazy and get this all up to 400 degrees, I want to be sure it fits. And the reason why I like to wallow the hole out, or whatever the technical term is, a little bit is because my stem is bent, and this is going to get bent, and you want it to fit in there nicely. So I got 3 more of these to do. We don't need to watch it, and I'll come back to you. Alright, so our unit's on. I know that this is going to be, you're not even going to be able to see this anyways. We're at 53 degrees temperature outside, basically, and we're going to get up to 400. So while that heats up, we're going to talk about some things. These are the cups that you use. So I take the cup, I put a little bit in, and then I make sure that it's banged down. Also, make sure this stuff is powdered the best you can. It likes to become a solid, and it doesn't go into the cups as well, so I do put a pack inside here. After I got it banged down, I take my teaspoon and put it on top, tap it out. So these are heavy. I don't know how many grams they are. It's probably more than what is recommended, especially for these 5 frames, 5/5 or a single, but this is what I do. This is our first oxalic acid cleanup in the fall. Formic Pro, in my opinion, is not a standalone treatment for mites. Oxalic acid is not a standalone treatment for mites, but in combination they work great. Formic Pro during the summer, oxalic acid in the spring and in the late fall. They work differently. Formic Pro kills the mites on the bees, and it also kills the mites in the cells. This kills the mites on the bees. The reason why I like to use it in the fall is because there's less brood, there's less cells, there's less mites being produced in these colonies because the queen has slowed down her laying. So this is a great time to do a cleanup. So I did run an extension cord up here because my concern is using, or I may run out of power using this unit on 7 different colonies, may run into an issue. So I'm just going to demonstrate with one. We're at 100 degrees right now. Elena's going to stay right there. You can trust what I'm doing. So I'm going to take this towel and I'm going to plug the entrance. It's a great day to be doing this. 54 degrees. They're not flying. Everybody's home. So that means you're going to treat all the bees. So we're at 250 degrees now. Couple things about these units, and with this unit in particular, you got to look at the wand units, the ones that go in the front entrance. I explained why I don't like going in the front entrance, but that's the way they're designed. They have a cooling period. You have to wait 10, I think even 15 minutes for the pot to cool down so that you can add the cool crystals again and then start treating. So if I were doing that here at 10 or 15 minutes cool down process, that's going to increase my treatment time by an hour to an hour and a half. That's a lot. All right, so we're at 420 degrees, inverted. You put the cup on. wear a respirator. Don't look at what I'm doing. Respirator makes the audio not so great. So slide it in, flip it over, tap the pot. You want to see a significant drop, right? So we're down to 313, just above 300. Now we're into 290. That's the significant drop you want. That means the crystals have now fallen into the pot. Now they must become a liquid, and then they become a gas. Keep your face away from that pot. If it has a problem, it could blow off. I like to tap them. I like to make sure they get down in there. We're at 340. Again, this is on the remote power unit, not on the extension cord from the property. And it seems to be doing fine. So we want to start seeing gas. All right, so we're just below 400 degrees. We have obvious gas. Elena's having to move around just to be safe. So we still got a lot of gas coming out the front. This is at 440. The crystals sometimes tend to become a solid inside the cup. That's why I really like to bang them down. I've pulled it out too early and then the gas is still coming out. So it's still much faster than the wands because there's no cool time. I'll show you that in a second. So I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Normally I wouldn't have to do that because I'm going to switch from the auxiliary power to the extension cord. But that was just a demonstration of what I've done when I have just a few colonies to do. Oh, make sure we're powering up. We're at the appropriate temperature. I know you're probably not going to be able to see that, but we're over 430 degrees. This one came with a golf tee. Again, inverted. No cool time. When you're buying these units, you have to take that into consideration. We want a significant temperature drop. 290. 280. So, got a couple bees. Not too happy. This is already starting to gas. Cover up the entrance. You can look, see all the crystals. See how white that board is? They're coming out. Not super happy. But in all reality, probably as far as treatment goes, this is the least invasive. Even Formic Pro, in my opinion, is much more harsh on the bees than this. So we got gassing. So I'm going to let that cool down. I'm going to let Elena go. You know, she's having to move around and avoid this stuff. You do not want to breathe this stuff. Some of the things I've mentioned in my other videos is people see the gas when they're treating and they see a visual that seems like you're doing a lot. You're gassing the whole colony. You got the visualization of the vaporizer. You got a lot of money into this. You got money into your oxalic acid. This just treats the mites on the bees. As far as treatments, it doesn't get under the cell. This may be very visual, but in the grand scheme of things, as far as treating under the cell and treating on the bees, this isn't doing much. This is just killing adult mites on the bees. It's not doing anything under the cell. It doesn't last very long. You know, Formic Pro, we leave it in there 10 days twice for the single treatment or 14 days for the double treatment. this gives a great visual, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not doing much. So you need to really think about your treatment options and what you're doing in treatments that you're doing in combination with each other, because I'll say it again, Formic Pro on its own is not a standalone treatment. Oxalic acid on its own definitely is not a standalone treatment. In combination, for me, they work great. So thanks for coming along. I hope your bees are well.